February 8th, 2026. Millions of people are glued to their screens, watching the final, heart-stopping play of the Super Bowl. The clock hits 0, the confetti rains down, and a champion is crowned. But what if this moment, this victory, already felt inevitable? Not because the game was scripted, not because it was rigged, but because the story had already been written, and you believed it before the first whistle even blew. We're told that sports are the last bastion of true unpredictability. That's the magic, right? The last-second miracle. We're told that sports are the last bastion of true unpredictability. That's the magic, right? The last-second miracle. The underdog comeback story. The beautiful, unscripted chaos that no one saw coming. The beautiful, unscripted chaos that no one saw coming. But something has shifted. In 2026, Netflix isn't just a streaming service anymore. In 2026, Netflix isn't just a streaming service anymore. It's the most sophisticated attention prediction system the world has ever seen. 250 million subscribers worldwide. Every single pause is analyzed. Every rewatch is measured. Every emotional spike is recorded and cataloged. Every single pause is analyzed. Every rewatch is measured. Every emotional spike is recorded and cataloged. Think about it. Traditional sports forecasting relies on things we can measure: player statistics, team performance metrics, historical matchup data. But modern content systems, like the one powering Netflix, can model something else entirely. They can model human attention. They know which teams generate the highest emotional engagement, which storylines create compulsive, binge-worthy viewing, and which narratives make people cancel their plans just to keep watching. They don't just ask what asterisk will asterisk happen. They simulate what asterisk could asterisk happen if attention were the ultimate goal. And once you can model attention at that massive scale, the line between prediction and influence starts to get very, very blurry. Let's look at what these systems actually track. When you watch the show *Quarterback* on Netflix, the platform didn't just record that you watched it. When you watched the show *Quarterback* on Netflix, the platform didn't just record that you watched it. It inferred complex patterns from your behavior. Which episodes triggered a binge session, which specific moments you replayed, the exact second you paused to Google a player's name, and even how your viewing habits shifted in the days and weeks that followed. This is called predictive behavioral modeling. Now, imagine scaling that across hundreds of millions of users. Across every single NFL documentary, every highlight reel, every player featurette. What emerges isn't just a pile of viewing data. It's a psychological blueprint of what makes audiences care. Industry observers are now suggesting that these recommendation systems rival or even exceed traditional forecasting methods, not because they better at predicting game outcomes, but because they're masterful at predicting attention. The odds in Vegas are based on athletic performance. But algorithmic modeling is based on something different: narrative momentum. And narrative momentum has a funny way of becoming real momentum. Here's a pattern we see playing out again and again. A documentary profiles a struggling quarterback. The algorithm identifies it as a compelling story and amplifies it to millions of viewers. Those millions become emotionally invested. The sports media picks up the story and runs with it. Public support for that quarterback swells. The sports media picks up the story and runs with it. Public support for that quarterback swells. Months later, he leads his team on an unexpected, thrilling playoff run. Is it just a coincidence? Maybe. Then, another season, a show highlights a talented but overlooked underdog receiver. Engagement with his clips spikes on social media. His name starts trending and dominates the sports conversation. This is what psychologists call narrative gravity. It's the idea that when our collective belief in a story grows strong enough, reality itself can start to bend toward it. In systems that are optimized for engagement, heroes and villains don't just emerge randomly. They are selected, refined, and amplified by the algorithm based on what story resonates most deeply with the audience. Once millions of people believe a player is destined for greatness, the entire ecosystem responds. Media coverage intensifies. Fan expectations rise. Opponents might prepare differently. Teammates might elevate their own game. Fan expectations rise. Opponents might prepare differently. Teammates might elevate their own game. Even officials, subconsciously, might respond to the overwhelming narrative. This isn't some grand conspiracy or direct manipulation. It's mass psychology, powered by data. And it doesn't stop with documentaries. Imagine a future broadcast where the commentary itself is dynamically generated, different angles and storylines for different viewers, each one perfectly tuned to maximize your personal emotional investment. Same game, same reality, but countless different stories being told at once. Same reality, but countless different stories being told at once. In that world, perception and reality don't just blur, they begin to completely diverge. So let's ask the real question. Has the Super Bowl already been shaped? Not scripted, not rigged, but narratively optimized so that one particular outcome feels more compelling, more satisfying, more inevitable than all the others? Here's how it could work. First, the system recognizes patterns, team trajectories, injury models, historical rivalries, and most importantly, fan engagement and sentiment. First, the system recognizes patterns, team trajectories, injury models, historical rivalries, and most importantly, fan engagement and sentiment. Then, it doesn't ask, who is statistically most likely to win? It models which potential matchup would generate the most global attention, which underdog story would go most viral, which rivalry would drive the most conversation and debate. Next comes the strategic timing and amplification of content. Emotional investment isn't built overnight. It's cultivated gradually, piece by piece, through a steady stream of curated highlights, features, and stories. Finally, reality begins to converge with the narrative. The media follows the storylines that get the most clicks. Fans commit their hearts and minds to the teams and players they've been told are special. Even financial markets can shift based on public sentiment. And most powerfully, the players themselves start to internalize the story being told about them. The system doesn't need to control the final score. It only needs to frame what feels destined. Because at the end of the day, humans don't remember statistics. We remember stories. We remember how a moment made us feel. And the most powerful, most profitable feeling of all is inevitability, that spine-tingling sense that this was always meant to happen. I'm not saying the game is predetermined, but I am saying that authenticity is no longer the only force in play. Perception now competes directly with reality. And in the modern attention economy, perception often has the upper hand. So when the confetti falls on Super Bowl Sunday, and the winning team lifts that Lombardi trophy, ask yourself, am I watching a pure athletic competition? Or am I watching the final satisfying chapter of a story arc that was optimized from the very beginning to capture my attention? I don't have absolute, definitive proof. But the fact that you're even considering this possibility right now means the pattern is already visible. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So what do you think? Is a streaming service SI just shaping how we feel about the Super Bowl? Or am I just another narrative cleverly designed to go viral? Either way, it's all in the data. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the Super Bowl, or maybe I'll see you in the story we've all agreed to believe.